Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. So as you know, I've been making a YouTube video series on the analysis of the Frankenstein miniseries. Today we are recording part 3, the final part of my series, which I will be talking about the contextual analysis on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and the plot. So I will be talking about Mary Shelley's biographical analysis, and I really suggest you to watch the first part of my the Frankenstein miniseries analysis series, so you will get a better hold of this video and its context. And let's get started to it, shall we? So far, I have mentioned Mary Shelley's life and her as an author, her writing Frankenstein, and the Frankenstein miniseries based on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein on part 1. The Frankenstein miniseries, its main characters, the relationship between the two main characters, and the main theme of the series, which is based on Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, on part 2. Finally, on part 3, which is this video, I will be coming back to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein that the miniseries are based on and the contextual analysis of it, which I will be analyzing the biographical context, how Mary Shelley's life influenced her into writing Frankenstein, and how Frankenstein was influenced by it. So, Mary Shelley's miserable life full of deaths. As we figured out in the first part of my Frankenstein analysis series on my channel, Mary Shelley has a life full of deaths. Her mother dies while giving birth to Mary, making her live a life full of pain by not getting to know her mother. Her stepsister commits suicide. She then gets married and has children, but two of them passes away at a really early age. Mary's husband Percy also dies while sailing with a friend by drowning to death. Mary encounters many deaths of her loved ones all through her life. So, now I will be mentioning something really important. So, this will be outside of Mary's life for a bit. Then I will connect them too. So, stay tuned and give all your focus to me. What is galvanism? Galvanism is the study of recovering illnesses or making the dead come alive by generating electrical current within chemical actions on biological organisms. So it is transferring electrical current on living stuff and uh, making them come alive again or recovering some of their illnesses, basically. So Luigi Galvani was the one who first produced this idea. Although science has shown that this study is not really realistic, it was popular and still is by having many believers that it can provide a second life for the dead ones. Galvanism studies. Giovanni Arlini, who is the nephew of Galvani, continued his uncle's work after his uncle's death in 1797. In 1803, Giovanni made trials of Galvanism on an executed criminal's dead body and made public shows of galvanic processes on dead bodies where the dead ones experiences muscle contractions. The dead body showed muscle movements, sometimes the hands were raised, sometimes the jaw clenched, sometimes the eye opened. These public shows influenced many people and they were popular. One of the influenced person, one of the influenced people were Mary Shelley, who is the writer of Frankenstein. So do you see the point I'm making here? Galvanism's influence on Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley was influenced by Giovanni's public trial shows on galvanism. As someone who encountered many deaths in her life, and as someone who can be considered as a daydreamer and a romantic writer, there are some proofs that she was a believer on galvanism practices. We can see the impact of galvanism on her book, Frankenstein, where Victor Frankensteins make the dead come alive with the help of electricity. In Mary and her husband Percy Shelley's tragic lives, There is evidence that can be found on them believing in the idea that the dead could get back alive. An example showing that is Percy Shelley's letter on him and Mary's son's William Shelley's last illness. He wrote, "By the skill of the physician, he was once reanimated after the process of death had actually commenced, and he lived 4 days after that time." It looks like the traumatic deaths of Mary Shelley's life influenced her ideas, which can be seen on her piece Frankenstein. In literature pieces, the writer and their life sometimes influence the piece that they have written. In our case, what happened is the idea of galvanism influenced Mary Shelley's life, one who encountered many deaths, believing the second chance of life could be provided to the dead. And it influenced Mary's piece Frankenstein, making her belief come true by a story where the dead comes alive. These were my references. So this concludes my YouTube series on the analysis of Frankenstein, the mini series. Thank you all for listening. And on this last part, we uh, analyzed the biographical context where Mary Shelley's life influences the piece Frankenstein, which the mini-series of Frankenstein depends on. So I hope you could get how each of the parts connect to each other and how everything influences one another. I wanted to make those statements clear in all three of my videos. I hope these videos will be helpful in your studies and I really hope you like them. So, thank you all for listening and I will see you around.